Following a friend's recommendation, a girl comes to take on a terrifying elevator game. All she has to do is follow the steps on a note to reach the 5th floor, and it will open a gateway to another world. But there's one rule: she must never open her eyes. Otherwise, a woman will appear and tear the challenger in half. After leaving a final message on her phone, Vera musters up the courage and presses the floor button. At first, nothing unusual happens inside the elevator. Still feeling excited, she even snaps a silly face selfie on her phone. Then she presses the button for the 5th floor. Terrified, Vera quickly shuts her eyes tight. Even after the elevator doors open, she refuses to look. A gust of cold wind sweeps through, and her heart starts racing. All she wants is for the doors to close. But after waiting for what feels like forever, nothing happens. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she opens her eyes. The very next second, the elevator doors slowly close. Seeing that nothing has happened, Vera lets out a sigh of relief. She figures it was all just an urban legend. But just as she's about to head back to the 1st floor, the elevator lights suddenly start flickering non-stop. The elevator, which had been going down, suddenly shoots upward like crazy. The terrifying scene makes her drop her phone on the ground. In her panic, she reaches down and touches an ice-cold foot. She frantically looks behind her but sees nothing. Little does she know, a ghost is standing right behind her. Scared out of her mind, Vera keeps pressing the buttons desperately, but this only makes the elevator descend even more slowly. She can feel a wave of terror creeping over her. She stands frozen in place, too afraid to move. Then she picks up her phone and points it behind her. Sure enough, she sees a sinister woman staring right at her. The elevator arrives at the 10th floor. What greets her eyes is a world drenched in blood red. The next second, the ghost reaches out to Vera. With one agonizing scream from Vera, when the elevator doors open again, it's as if nothing ever happened. The scene shifts. A group of young people, chasing online clout, decide to take on the mysterious elevator in the city center. A month ago, a girl vanished without a trace while playing this game. That missing girl was Vera. After discussing it among themselves, the group decides to go that very night. To boost their company's viewership, they even bring professional filming equipment to document everything. They then explain the rules of the game. The challenger must press 7 floors in a specific sequence. If they successfully complete the final step, the female ghost will transport them to another world. People call it the Blood Red World. Once everything is set, they first install a surveillance camera inside the elevator. 3 of them ride inside while the rest stay outside. The 3 enter the elevator and press the floors according to the steps. The others monitor the situation on their equipment. Just like what happened to Vera. At first nothing unusual occurs, but when they reach the 10th floor, the lights suddenly start flickering wildly. Nick is thrilled, dancing with excitement. Convinced this trip wasn't for nothing, the 3 finally arrive at the 5th floor. As the elevator doors slowly open, a blast of cold wind hits them in the face. But this time, the doors stay open for an unusually long time. Something outside seems to be slowly approaching the elevator, but curious Nick opens his eyes. Luckily, nothing happens. Now, if they can make it safely back to the 1st floor, they'll have beaten the challenge. But the very next second, the elevator suddenly starts climbing upward in the most unsettling way. At the same time, the surveillance feed becomes extremely blurry. The 3 inside immediately panic. One of them is so scared he wants to get out right then and there. Thankfully, the other 2 stop him just in time. Then, inexplicably, the elevator stops on the 9th floor. Just as the 3 stand there in terror, the elevator doors suddenly open on their own. But it turns out to be just a man stepping inside. The 3 finally breathe a sigh of relief. Back on the 1st floor, the 3 look visibly shaken. Clearly, they haven't recovered from what just happened. But because the surveillance equipment malfunctioned, they didn't capture anything. At that moment, Anna seems to hear something. She's about to step into the elevator when Bandy pulls her back just in time. Then Peter comes up with an idea. He says they should try again. This time, they'll put all the equipment inside the elevator to prevent another malfunction. But Nick tries to back out and leave. Seeing this, Peter instantly loses it. He drops a bombshell, exposing the relationship between Nick and his sister Vera. Everyone is stunned. They never expected a drama show on top of their adventure. Peter then reveals that he's Vera's brother. The girl who went missing was his own sister. Because Vera idolized Nick, the 2 quickly got together. But Nick betrayed Vera's feelings. And it was Nick who told his sister about this elevator game. His sister disappeared because of Nick. Yet Nick couldn't care less. The reason Peter chose to come here was to find out what happened to his sister. Hearing all this, everyone turns on Nick. Just then, a security guard walks over and kicks them all out. Little does Nick know, he's about to pay a terrible price for what he's done. Meanwhile, on her way home, Anna senses something is off. She looks up and sees what appears to be an endless number of floors stretching above her. She keeps feeling like someone is following her. Frightened, Anna quickens her pace. But the second she leaves, the door eerily shuts on its own behind her. On the other side, the moment Nick steps into the building, every single light goes out. Confused, he pulls out his phone to look around, only to spot a shadowy figure lurking beneath the staircase. He tries to run, but finds his body completely paralyzed. The next second, he's yanked upward uncontrollably. And just like that, Nick gets exactly what he deserves. Meanwhile, Peter walks the streets alone, still determined to find his missing sister. He gathers his courage and steps into the elevator, ready to play the terrifying game one more time. He follows the steps and presses the floors. When passing the 5th floor, he keeps his eyes shut tight. Something outside seems to enter the elevator. A dark shadow flashes past. The female ghost is clearly right behind him now. Peter is trembling with fear. He just prays the elevator doors will close as soon as possible. Thankfully, he keeps his eyes shut and narrowly escapes. He presses the button for the 1st floor, but sure enough, the elevator once again creeps upward on its own, finally stopping on the 10th floor. When the doors open, the legendary blood-red world unfolds before his eyes. Peter summons his courage and slowly steps out. The entire world outside has turned red. The streets are completely deserted. When he looks up at the sky, a massive red cross looms overhead. But when Peter turns around, he spots a blurry figure standing in the distance. Thinking it might be his sister, he calls out her name again and again, but the figure doesn't respond, just as Peter stands there confused. It hits him, and he starts running for his life. The figure chases after him in a grotesque, twisted manner. Peter ducks behind a corner in sheer terror. Seeing the ghost still searching for him, he bolts into a room to hide. On the other side, the remaining two return to the office only to realize they accidentally left the camera behind in the elevator. After a quick discussion, they decide to go back for it. You'd think they'd just grab the camera and leave, but boredom gets the better of them, and they start playing the game too. When the elevator reaches the 5th floor, neither of them closes their eyes. The bolder of the two girls even steps out of the elevator and waves hello at the empty air. Little does she know, a black hand is already reaching out from the wall to her right. The next second, the lights inside the elevator go haywire. When the girl turns back around, she tries to run in terror, but the ghost snatches her right back. As the elevator doors slowly close, their fate is sealed. The scene shifts. The elevator descends to the 1st floor. Peter quickly steps inside. He presses the floor buttons while staring in horror through the window. A dark shadow slowly approaches. The instant the doors close, Peter collapses to the ground in terror. That's when he notices a camera lying on the floor nearby. He picks it up and looks at the footage. It shows exactly what happened to his companions, their final horrifying moments. Only now does he realize the truth. Anyone who plays this game and breaks the rules will be haunted by the female ghost with no escape. Meanwhile, Anna is researching the elevator online. She doesn't notice the lights outside flickering wildly. The next second, the light turns a horrifying blood red, then a black hand slowly reaches in from outside. At that critical moment, Anna turns off the light and takes off her headphones. When she looks back, the room has returned to normal. At the same time, Bandy is waiting for a bus on the roadside, but he keeps feeling like someone is watching him. Even his phone starts glitching. When he looks up, Bandy nearly jumps out of his skin. He takes off without looking back. On the other side, Anna calls Bandy. They agree to meet at the office. Meanwhile, Peter finds Anna and tells her everything that happened. Not only is the game real, but he saw the red female ghost in the other world. Anna doesn't believe a word of it. She thinks Peter has lost his mind, but when she sees the terrifying footage on the camera, she finally believes him. The two head back to the office. There they find Bandy has drawn a ritual circle on the floor with salt. He explains that the female ghost is afraid of salt. As long as they stay inside this circle made of salt, the ghost can't touch them. Anna, meanwhile, has done some digging. This game traces back to a news story from decades ago. The building once held a party. A group of people locked a girl named Ellie inside the elevator shaft, but they got so drunk that night, they completely forgot about her. It wasn't until a week later that people coming to work discovered her body. According to experts, she had been crushed repeatedly by the descending elevator and died in agony. Ellie's vengeful spirit has lingered ever since. Anyone who dares enter the elevator and play this game will face Ellie's punishment. But Anna still can't bring herself to believe the story. She insists it's nothing more than a made-up legend. Even after seeing the camera footage, Anna sticks to her stance. She says she's going to call the police, but right in the middle of their argument, Anna seems to spot something.
Allie? Okay. That's good. That's good.
The three of them scramble into the salt circle. The ghost of Ellie slowly materializes, her body twisting and contorting as she inches toward them. At the last critical moment, Ellie stops right at the edge of the circle. Seeing this, Bandy thinks his experiment actually worked. He celebrates excitedly and slowly edges toward the boundary, but the very next second, amid a blood-curdling scream, the other two flee the office in a panic. They rush to the elevator, determined to send Ellie back to her world. Following the steps, they reach the 5th floor. They clasp each other's hands tightly and keep their eyes firmly shut. Thankfully, nothing happens. They successfully arrive at the 10th floor. Staring at the blood-red world before her, Anna finally and completely believes everything Peter told her. Peter slowly steps out and stands perfectly still. Then a figure appears outside. Peter thinks it's his sister and keeps calling her name. Eventually, after Anna's persistent urging, the two return to the elevator. Little do they know, the woman outside has turned her head toward them. They think they can make it back to the 1st floor, but the elevator stops at the 5th floor again. Anna realizes the ghost doesn't want them to leave. Terrified, they can only keep their eyes shut tight. As the elevator slowly descends, Anna hears a voice whispering in her ear. Peter slowly opens his eyes. The entire elevator is drenched in blood. Just as despair washes over him, someone calls his name from behind. Peter slowly turns around and finds the ghost Ellie staring straight at him with unblinking eyes. The elevator finally reaches the 1st floor normally. When Peter slowly lifts his head again, he sees his sister standing right in front of him. He has no idea this is another one of the ghost's tricks, designed to make Peter stay forever. 3 months pass. Another girl shows up to take on the elevator game. She holds up her phone to record, but just as she's about to press the floor button, the movie ends.